Hey guys. So sorry we're a minute late or so. We had some technical difficulties, having issues with the internet, as always. Please do let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay, if you need me to be closer to the camera, anything like that. I will give people a little time to get on here. This is my first time doing a live from my laptop, so I'm trying to figure out how to monitor everything while we're going. If I look a little exhausted, there's good reason for that. Um, we are we're having some funding issues, stuff that even though we did everything we could to avoid it, it's still an issue. So we'll talk about that a bit today and talk about some ways that you guys might potentially be able to help us if you're looking to. Um, So I want to start the video out letting you guys know that we lost $700 in recurring funding this last week without any explanation. This is money that, hey Tina, thanks for joining us. This is money that we've been getting from a local donor for purchasing frozen chicken, and that's been coming in for a couple of years. It doesn't fully cover our food costs like the chicken costs, but it does. I mean, $700 a month of recurring income is helpful. We're not allowed to take the physical money and we're not allowed to take it to a different market. It's only the one market that they donate it to. And the prices for the market keep going up and up and up. So the amount of chicken that we've been getting for that donation has been steadily going down, but we're still incredibly grateful for it. And then we got just cut off from the funding with no explanation. And the person that was providing it, I don't think it's a financial issue, like that they couldn't afford it anymore. Um, because people with billions of dollars like that tend not to even notice $700, $1,000, $2,000 a month. And people are welcome to withdraw their support at any time. But it would be nice if we could get a heads up so that the dogs don't starve. Or to where I can try and have more than 2 seconds to try and replace that funding. So that was kind of a big hit, and they left us with $500 a month on the account. They took 700 off. So initially it started out at 2,600, then they brought it down to 1,200 again with no explanation, and then they kept it there for about a year, and then now they've dropped it to 500, and I anticipate that last 500 is also going to be removed from us any day. No one will answer phone calls. No one will respond to me via emails. Like, just no explanation. So that money's gone. Um, and I'm not sure how we're going to fill the freezers going forward. So so yeah. Um, we do get a little bit of local support, but it usually comes with strings. So it's kind of like you do what we want, take on unlimited animals or do surgeries for us or whatever it is that they might want. It's do that stuff or the funding disappears and very little communication regarding that, which really sucks. Um, at our current rate, that we're getting funds coming in through various sources, My Giving Circle, PayPal, our US bank account, UK bank account, all of it. We're looking at end of December before we have to close the doors to the Warpaws shelter in Erbil, which is Warpaw's single largest expense. It costs us $20,000 a month to run the shelter. Sylvia, yeah, no, I'm not allowed to name them. People with $8 billion, that's what the public knows about. Those people come with political connections that could make my life a living hell here if I were to expose them. Um, and again, I don't want to seem ungrateful, but they didn't take the money from me directly. They didn't take it from my salary. They took it from the dog's food budget. With no, I mean, if they had told us, hey, we're going to remove this budget for X, Y, and Z reason, or we just don't want to support you anymore, and given us, just a tiny bit of heads up so that I could replace that funding. I wouldn't even be sour about it because things happen. I could be disappointed, but I wouldn't be sour. As it is right now, I'm pissed, is what I am. I'm raging angry because I feel like I don't know how much longer I can keep going on pulling up to the shelter and seeing dogs in need and not being able to provide what it is that they need. It's exhausting. And I'm feeling really angry. What was I going to say? Um, at the current rate we're going, we are going to have to close in December if funding doesn't pick up. Like it's just barely trickling in. And we kept thinking, oh, maybe we're just having a bad month. Maybe the algorithm's not showing our post to enough people. But it seems to be a bigger issue because it's not picking back up the way that we had hoped. We didn't know if it was simultaneous wars going on all over the planet that are pulling people's funding and their which country they're in. Iraq, Kurdistan region, specifically Erbil. Um, yeah, they run an oil and gas company and construction and a bunch of other stuff. So, which doesn't really narrow it down. Like if you look, there's a lot of companies like that and individuals like that in the region. Um, where was I? I keep losing my train of thought because I'm incredibly stressed. So ways that we've been trying to kind of cover those losses. Luis and I've been going to meetings with big companies all over the region, trying to convince them that we're worth investing their money in, that we provide real value to the community. Everyone we meet with has the same reaction. They just cannot believe what we are doing. It is so incredible. It's amazing. Oh, you guys are just the best. But then, um, but then very little follow up. Sorry, I was just getting messages from Louise. She said, let them know that we do have some local awesome supporters. We do. We do. Um, we have we have people that I seriously like. They're earth angels, right? Like I can't thank them enough. Uh, and it's easy for me to focus on the negatives because like it hurts when funding gets lost, but it doesn't mean for 1 second that we're not grateful to the people that still show up for us day in and day out, that advocate for us, that set up meetings. I'm incredibly grateful. Um, but it still doesn't change the fact that without adequate funding, we're going to be looking at shutting down in a few months. Um, because the money's just not coming in, and all week I've been cutting costs all week. And those costs, because I couldn't cut them for the dogs, it meant cost cutting for the staff, for myself, for all of our staff. Um, and I am anticipating a few people possibly quitting, um, because of this or because they worry about instability, which will further destabilize us. Um, I don't even remember the last grant that we were approved for. We had, I think it was Lady Freethinker or someone message us asking information, and we thought, okay, this is a good time for us to apply. We apply, get denied again. Um, we send out emails to news agencies and all sorts of other stuff, just trying to get a little bit of coverage because there are people out there that want to help us. They just don't know about our story. Um, so yeah, we've got a whole host of issues. Sorry, I'm going to pull up my notes here. We've got some ways that people can help, and ways that it doesn't always have to be you sending money, right? Um, so if you go to our website, the Warpaws website, and go under the donate button, there's all the donation options and stuff for cash donations. Also our Amazon wish list for physical donations. And then we've got our Zelle app, the Venmo in the US, but some free ways that people can support us that you guys may not know about. And I'm sorry, I keep looking at my notes because there's a lot of different stuff going on. But easy fundraising. So for those of you in the UK who are doing any type of online shopping, which is pretty much everyone at this stage in 2025, um, so you sign up for it, you download the browser extension, and then every time you go on to say Amazon, um, eBay, any of those, it should pop up giving you an option um, to like sign or to donate, right? Or to have a portion of your purchase or something get donated. Um, sorry, everybody's gonna message me while I'm in the middle of a live. Um, so yeah, easy fundraising for those of you in the UK. Alternatively, doing the Give As You Live. These are UK only. We have some US options like iGive. And some charities actually do really, really well on these because it doesn't cost you anything, but as you shop, it does give us donations for every purchase. So Luis is adding some comments and stuff on here, so go ahead and have a look. She's talking about that if we can come in the top 7 on that Almo Nature thing, that there's some money to be had from that, and you guys can vote. And she's also sharing links. Some other things, as we're coming into the holiday season, you guys can do the e-cards. So on our website, there's an option. It's called Don't Send Me a Card, I think, .com. And you can select War Pause and you can send holiday gift cards. So in lieu of mailing someone a physical card, you can instead donate whatever you would have spent on the postage and the cards. And I believe for even the minimum donation, you get like 100 e-cards to send out, and you can change the design. So it doesn't have to just be one design or one message on those. And right now, I think we have some people using them, but the more people that use that, the better. Like I said, especially coming into the holidays, we've got Christmas and whatnot coming up. We also have recycling options as well. So if you go onto our website, let me pull up our website actually while I'm talking to you guys. Let me see if that'll, you guys can go into there's like different options to recycle and do things like that. So you can send us old currency that you've maybe collected from your vacations and travels, ink cartridges, and this is for the UK, by the way, this one, the recycling, stamps and things like that. We can also recycle those and use that to fund the shelter. Let's see. Oh, the Patreon. So you might have noticed a slight change in our social media lately, and that's because normally it's me and Luis primarily doing our. They're trying to call me during a live. It's normally Luis and I that handle most of the social media stuff, and recently I've had to kind of push more of that back onto Luis so that I could focus more on the Patreon. So the Patreon's been up since I think August 11th, and we've got $400 a month in recurring donations. I don't know how well you guys can see my scrap paper here. These are all episodes and stuff that I'm working on currently for Patreon. And every membership on there goes directly to support us. There are platform fees and stuff like that, and you can't do the gift aid because it's technically like a membership service. But I'm sharing a lot of different stuff on there. We've got several series: Meet the Dog Mondays, Meet the Staff Tuesdays, the Clinic Chronicles Wednesdays. So every Wednesday we're going to be sharing a brief overview of what we've done in the clinic the week prior, and usually highlight one case that we are interested in sharing. Sorry, I'm trying to look at my phone as I'm talking to you guys. I'm actually going to put Do Not Disturb on there because I can't be. My focus is all over the place. Also, my phone isn't working anymore, so it doesn't respond half the time. What was I talking about? Oh, Wednesdays. So all throughout the weekdays, or throughout the week, there's different series and different tiers on Patreon. So Luis is saying all these links are also on our link tree on our profile. They are. Also, if you look at our stories, we're frequently sharing stories about whatever's going on at the moment, along with the link, the specific link to where you guys can easily follow it to get to the Patreon or to get to the recycling portion of our website. So what I was talking about with Patreon, we've got Less Than Perfect on Thursdays, which is a series, kind of a personal blog type series, and then Stir the Pot Saturdays. So that's a new series that we're doing on Patreon where we share recipes and cooking videos and stuff of things that our staff like to eat. I know it's odd, but each of these goes into different tiers. So the $5, the $10, and the $20 a month tier each have 2 series, weekly series in them. And then the $5 tier, which is the lowest one, That one also has previews of all of the other series to where you can kind of get a feel for what we share on there and maybe upgrade if you feel so inclined. I think we're at like 90 posts already that have been put on there since August. And right now we're on a plateau right now where people are not signing up for the Patreon. So if you want to have a look, I would personally appreciate it, but the animals would also appreciate it. We do share some free stuff on there as well, so you can join up as a free member. And then if you like what you see, then you can upgrade tiers. And they go all the way up to $200 a month for the Donkey Defenders tier. And that one, we haven't had any signups for that. It's a huge financial commitment for someone, but there is some really interesting content in there that won't be anywhere else. And the idea with the Patreon is that we could build up a bit of recurring monthly income to where we're not falling into these pits where it's like, the funding just dries up and we're caught, with our pants down. The cost of everything keeps going up, like it is for everyone else around the world. Like I said, I've spent the whole last week with our staff just brainstorming how we can cut our costs a bit. There's things that we can't save anymore on, like the dog food. We're already doing it as cheaply as we can. Vaccines, even though we reached out to vaccine suppliers, no one has sent any donations for that. So we're still on the hook for like $1,000 a month in vaccines. And being able to vaccinate these animals is at the core of what we're doing here, what we claim to do in the region, and it's part of the value that we bring to the local community. So we can't really stop doing that, along with the spay and neuter that has to keep going. Luis is commenting, Oriana desperately needs a new secondhand phone. Um, yeah, no, I mean, I could use a new phone. I took this one to the shop because I thought, oh, well, maybe it just needs a new screen or something because it's otherwise in great shape. Of course, my phone doesn't start acting up when I'm actually in the shop, but it just like opens and closes itself. It pushes buttons randomly. I'll need to make a phone call and can't, which is kind of dangerous here, actually. And there's no money in the War Paws budget, and I certainly don't have any money to buy a new phone. But on the big list of concerns, it's not nearly the biggest. So, but good looking out, Louise. Thanks. I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's just been a lot of disappointing stuff that's kind of popped up over the last couple weeks, and we've been giving things, you know, more effort than should be humanly possible. All of us, every single person involved, and then, the rug just feels like it gets pulled out from underneath us. We've got rats chewing through everything at the shelter. That's kind of normal. That's expected. But it means repairs. They even chew through metal, like thin sheet metal, and have chewed into the office before. Hey, Philippa, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Um, but there's also stuff like high winds are an issue out here. Uh, I've mentioned previously that we paid all that money to have three-phase electricity run to the shelter, and then they just unilaterally came and cut 15 meters of our wire out and replaced it with single phase with no compensation, no explanation, no justification, literally nothing. And there's no one to even fight with about it. Louise said the rats were so big on the roof when I was there, I thought there was dogs on the roof. Yeah, yeah. Um, I actually just posted one of the Meet the Staff Tuesdays for today was Sabine, our operations supervisor, and in the first picture he's holding a big rat by the tail. That's one of many that was caught in the office chewing through the power wires. So yeah, the staff also have to deal with the unpleasant tasks of removing giant rats from the shelter. The dogs don't seem to mind them. They just let them get on with their with their day. And you can just watch them playing outside. Like the rats are giant, but we've got everything they want out there. We've got dog waste, we've got water, shelter. Um, Sorry if I seem a little off today. I'm feeling a little off. Um, and it's not all bad news. Like we have been getting more local support than we've ever gotten before. Um, so we've had some companies that are, they've offered us some support. We haven't, it hasn't become a regular thing yet, and there's no guarantees. And we're not at a stage where we can talk about that support yet because we haven't received any permission from those companies. Um, and we're hoping that they'll let us announce it publicly because then it'll push other companies to be like, listen, if these people believe in this shelter, then we can believe in them too. So we're hoping that we get permission to announce that stuff formally to you guys. And it would only take, 10, 12, 15 big companies giving us, a small amount of their charitable support, what they're already giving to charities, and we could run this place a lot more effectively, and with a lot less stress. This year was our first year, 2025, with a US bank account, so that was a new thing for us. We just got registered in the US, and we're still like we've barely scratched the surface for the US as far as fundraising goes. Um, so we're hoping that next year that'll pick up a bit. We've also had some professionals, ecologists, people that do social media stuff come out to the shelter and offer to do some volunteering with us and some things to help the shelter. But that'll take time, and a lot of energy to put into place. So we're working through that. Um, we had some really frustrating encounters this past few weeks with one of the shelters that was really struggling here in Erbil that we had offered support to. We drew up we've given a lot of support already, and we drew up a contract to more formalize, like to make it a more formal thing, and explain to them what we were actually capable of versus what they would need to do, like that they need to transport the animals to us for treatment, that they need to allow a certain amount of time between when they call or email for us to respond, because there are very few of us actually running this organization. Um, and for things like TBT that they had to help provide for the cost of the medications and stuff, because their shelter is overrun with TVT, and it would break us financially to try and treat all of their dogs. And if you're not treating them, there's very little point in spaying and neutering the dogs, because you're going to invest resources into animals that are going to go back and then just get reinfected with TVT and die horrific deaths. Hold on, I'm getting comments coming in. Roz, I can't believe I arrived on your live chat. That's a first for me. Hi, everyone. Hi, Roz. How are you? And then also my donations come via my US account, also using Zelle, which is great as no transactions charges are deducted. Yeah, Zelle is fantastic. If you're in the US, the donations get to us instantly. There's no charges. I use Zelle personally a lot when I need to pay, like if I need to pay a family member back or something, when they've picked stuff up for me in the US. So Zelle is great. And thanks for bringing that up. I like Zelle. And the money gets to our US account quite quickly. I keep losing track of where I'm at. I make all these notes and then I still struggle to keep on track. Luis is talking about that there was a report released last week about corporate giving in the UK, and the report is grim, but it gives reasons why companies in the UK don't cut their donations or don't donate, or companies why they've cut their donations or don't donate at all. And she shared the link for that. And that brings up a good point, is that funding that used to be available is no longer available. Like people are just, and corporations are clawing back what little they used to donate. We used to have donations coming in from Amazon. I think it was their Smile program or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Luis. And we used to get a fair bit of funding off of that. Not enough to run the shelter, mind you, but a fair bit. And then they discontinued that program altogether, um, and engage in corporate donations to specific organizations, which were not included in that. So that funding loss, that sucked. Also, we've stopped getting grants from several different organizations because they want to spread the funds out to other orgs, so they don't want to just continue to only give to us. Um, but that equals, nearly half of our running costs every single year have just disappeared from grants. And we apply for grants. Every single one that we know of that we've come across, we have applied for if we're eligible, and 99% of that is just either a denial or they just never get back to us at all. So that's pretty frustrating. Luis says we also got our Venmo set up for the US supporters, and our handle on there is at WarPauseUSA, and it's in the comments there. So yeah, if you're in the US, there's a ton of ways to donate money very easily to us. And I believe I also mentioned the iGive thing. If you sign up for that and choose us as your charity, that you can raise money for us on every single purchase that you make online through participating stores, and that costs you nothing. You just have to sign up for it, and it's the same thing for the Easy fundraising and the Give As You Live in the UK. What else? Even things here as basic as our electricity. We've had people, I'm not going to name any names, come to us trying to twist our arm to get us to pay them bribes so that we can still access utilities, even though we pay for them. So that, like, these are all things, like, one or two of these things won't really crush a person or crush an organization, but when you're having a lot of back-to-back issues, it just really takes its toll. Luis says, don't forget that if you are a USA donor, your donations are tax deductible. That's true. So because we're registered as a 501c3, all of the donations that you send to WarPause in the US are tax deductible, with the exception of when you get a Patreon subscription, because that is a paid subscription and not a tax deductible donation. But I do highly recommend that you check out the Patreon if you're interested in more about what we do. I'm able to talk about things on Patreon that I could never talk about on social media. So for those that sign up for the Patreon, they're getting a real in-depth look into the rescue world, and specifically rescue here in Erbil and in the Middle East. Oh, today is Amazon Prime Day. I brought up Amazon and then I completely forgot. So we updated our wish list. We've had also our physical donations have also kind of dropped off. And I'm not sure if it's our frequency of posting or if it's the materials getting stale. I'm not really sure what's happening, but the physical donations have also dipped off. And we have our core supporters where you guys just show up for us time and time and time again. And I always feel so bad because I get on here and I'm like, things are horrible, no one's helping. And it feels like I'm ungrateful for the people that are already showing up for us every single day. Hey, Roz, I'll check out Patreon. Thank you. It's appreciated. Also, if you guys like what you see on Patreon, please recommend it to friends and family, your boss, your coworkers, anyone you think might be interested in what we write. Like I said, there's a ton of content in there, and not all of it is sad. Some of it's just goofy. Some of it's insights into what we do and why. So it's interesting. It's different than what we do on our social media, and yeah, I'd love for you guys to check it out. Sylvia, I've still had my first cup of coffee. This dog behind you is in Dreamland. Oh, that's Cinder. Yeah, that's my personal dog, one of them. At least I hope it's a dog. Yeah, no, that's Sinduri. I'm in my office right now, and I have this is also our spare bedroom, my home office, and my dogs spend most of their time while I'm working either there or on the little dog bed there, the office beds. Um, so yeah, yep, that's my Cinder. She really is living her best life back there, isn't she? If you guys can think of any other ways for us to raise funds or even just raise awareness, because awareness is a big deal. Our Facebook, our followers seem to be completely stopped out at 33,000. And for every one or two people that we have follow our Facebook, we'll have another one or two that drop off. Um, Fran, I often ring companies to try and get donations or grants. So if other supporters maybe could ring a few companies, you often get a no, but occasionally some say yes and can spread the word about Warpaws. That's a great point, Francis. Fran has been an absolute star. She has a great track record of getting people to give us in-kind donations. Andis clippers, treats, shampoos, and other stuff like that. Like it's Fran, you've been a star, and we appreciate you. But yeah, if there's any companies that you can think of, giving them a call is a good way to get them to donate versus sending out an email. Um, People tend to just kind of look at emails and then delete them or put them in junk if it doesn't immediately grab their attention. And it's also easier for them to say no because it feels more anonymous than a phone call does. So yeah, um, tell your friends and family, talk to your coworkers, anyone that you know that might be interested in our story and what we do. Also, if people want to set up fundraisers, like in-person ones, Louise says it's harder to say no on the phone or face-to-face. Absolutely. But so yeah, check with your employers because a lot of companies will do like match funding and stuff. We have few supporters that do that, and it produces thousands of pounds, thousands of dollars per year in match donations. So check with your employers, check with local businesses that you're familiar with or that you frequent. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, if you guys do in-person fundraisers, some people do dog shows or do tea parties. Or they'll go to car shows or other stuff, and they'll represent us at these things and collect donations. And then yeah, that kind of stuff really helps us. Send it through to our accounts or connect with myself or Luis, and we'll guide you on how best to donate that to maximize your donation. Luis, if we can get our numbers up and get people commenting and interacting on posts, then just maybe Meta will show our content to more people. Yes, but I'm also not going to hold my breath on that, Luis, because like the Facebook algorithms, we've done everything they've asked us to do, and then our engagement just keeps plummeting. Um, and I'm not a social media genius by any stretch of the imagination, so who knows? Who knows? Louise says we are also registered with Benevity in the US and UK for payroll giving, where many employers will match your donations. So, Louise, how does that Benevity stuff work? Do they have to talk to their employer, like to their HR department, or do they sign up for it online? That's not one that I'm familiar with. Kate Thomas, what is the UK company Alamo we need to vote on for a share of 45K? We were sixth last I looked, but maybe could do with another plug. Get all of our UK families, etc., to vote. I'll pass that question over to Luis because that one's a relatively new one to me, and it's a UK specific, so I'm still kind of learning that stuff. Luis Hasty, well then, Oriana, you best get ready to open an OnlyFans page. I mean, I would open an OnlyFans in a heartbeat if I thought I could make enough money to run this place. Like, I've got no shame. I'm ratchet for the charity. I'm ratchet for the dogs. I'll do it, but I don't think there's that big of a market for my special photos. Luis, I believe they can speak to the payroll department and get registered. So for Benevity, yeah, go ahead and speak to the payroll department at your place of work and see if they participate with the Benevity, the payroll giving. So where your employers will match your donations. So if you wanted to give directly from your payroll, then your employer may match it. Luis is saying the Alamo Nature are donating 45,000 pounds to the top 7 charities, and it's being done on a rolling scale. The higher we place, the more funding we get. So that's what that is, and that's only for UK residents, I believe, that can vote on that. Sylvia, I know you guys are very busy, but do you think you could gain more visibility by raising awareness on Blue Sky? Possibly. We did open a Blue Sky account. I go through any new platform and we register and get ourselves signed up. That way, no one else could grab our name and use it to like collect funds in a false way. But I have not really looked into Blue Sky to see if it was good for fundraising. Jane Goldsboro, I only follow you on Facebook. Vote on all I can and donate when I can. You do an amazing job. Thank you very much, Jane, and we appreciate you. No matter where you guys are following us from, every click, share, like, comment, all of it adds up and it helps, and we appreciate it more than we can say. Lisa Camerling, easy fundraising can also be used for booking hotels via booking.com or flights via airline websites, if not in the UK. These add up very nicely. That's an excellent point. So if you frequently travel, if you're flying, if you're booking hotels, whether you're in the US or the UK, please sign up for the iGive, the easy fundraising, or the Give As You Live. Because when you're doing those big purchases, it's not going to cost you anything extra, but it could raise a nice chunk of money for the charity. So we really appreciate that kind of stuff. Kate, that's it. Luis finishes soon, I think. Yeah, so vote for us if you're a UK resident on the Almo Nature thing, because we can potentially get some money from that at the end of the round. And it's on a rolling basis. Also, My Giving Circle, we won first place again. This is quarterly, so every few months, and that was an extra £3,000 because we came in first place. And when you guys donate on My Giving Circle, it buys votes as well. Excuse me. But the donations that come through, so we get them as you send them, right? It'll take a few days processing time, but they don't wait until the end of the quarter to give us the cash donations that you guys are sending. So those ones, even though it may look like a lot at the end of a quarter, that's a whole quarter's worth of donations that have already come into our account that we're spending on vaccines, medications, electricity, all sorts of stuff. So we don't get that one at the end, like in a lump sum, but we do get the prize money. Now we're on a new round already on My Giving Circle, and the prize this time, the first place prize is £5,000. So, and the year end one is always a bigger prize. So please do keep giving us your free vote on My Giving Circle every week. And just a reminder, it is 1 vote per person per week. And they do monitor that kind of stuff, and they'll remove like duplicate votes or votes from multiple people using different emails and things like that. They are monitoring that, and we don't want to do anything that's outside of the rules for My Giving Circle. So be mindful, please, of that. Louise says, absolutely, Lisa, there are some charities who get thousands of pounds via easy fundraising every 3 months. So yeah, we could really use access to that. And like I said earlier, it costs nothing to sign up for these shopping programs. So, what was it? The easy fundraising, Give As You Live, iGiving, I think is what it's called, the US one. These are all free for you guys to use, and they give us money every time you shop online, if you choose us as your chosen charity. Lisa says, yes, I always book my husband's work trips on there, currently shifting every 6 months between Warpaws and my friend's charity. Next holiday will go to you again. Thank you very much, Lisa. We appreciate it. And a lot of our supporters travel, myself included. So if all of us were using the fundraising platforms when we're purchasing that kind of stuff, we could raise a nice bit of coin for the charity. What we're struggling with right now is that we have these gaps, right? So even though our effort is incredibly consistent, our work is consistent, there's huge gaps in the funding. So a bit will come through, on stuff, and then it dies off without much explanation. And ideally, a charity of our size would have 6 months of operating cost in the bank that we're not touching, that are there just for emergencies, and we don't. And that's not through poor planning, that's just, we keep getting hit with emergencies and stuff, and things that it's not stuff that we could easily put off. It's things that would jeopardize our mission as a whole here if we didn't get them fixed or work on the project. So yeah, kind of a bummer that we're in this position over and over again, because we are the only NGO with a boots on the ground operation in Iraq that are doing this kind of work. And this isn't just us, this isn't a vanity project for me or for Luis. This isn't something where we come in here and it's like, oh, look at how good of a job we do to make ourselves feel better. No, this is a public health service to this region. So I'll explain a little bit about that. So from a public health aspect, we are vaccinating dogs against rabies, DHPPI, parvo, lepto, all of that. But the rabies specifically, that's endemic in Iraq, and it transfers primarily from dog bite to human, usually children. So by vaccinating dogs, by going to schools and doing bite prevention training and other things, we are actively participating in the reduction of rabies in Iraq, and we are the only org that's doing it at this level. There's a few individual people that are kind of out, doing sporadic, vaccines and stuff, but there's no one that's doing it systematically the way that we are. We're also coaching local governments on how to deal with their waste management and other things in a way that reduces the street dog population. Also, this region is recovering from war very recently. Actually, people, it may not be in the news anymore, but that war in Mosul was huge. And the people here are traumatized by it. The kids have seen nothing but war. And then following war, they're watching a lot of cruelty to animals and suffering, and they just get desensitized to it. And we don't want that. Children that are desensitized to violence are more susceptible to things like, terrorist organizations and other things. So it goes well beyond us just cuddling puppies and kittens and, showing up on your social media feed. What we're doing here is saving human lives as well as the animals' lives. We also support dozens of people through their full-time work with us that allows them to care for their families and to live with dignity in a region that doesn't have a lot of that to offer. Luis, we would really like to find companies who will sponsor staff salaries as well. If we could find one company for every staff member and they would sponsor that staff member's salary for a year, then not only are our staff paid, but it's a tax break for the company as well. That's a good point. So we don't pay rock star wages here, but we do pay a living wage. I would love to be able to pay everyone more, because right now it's not a rock star wage. It's anywhere else in the world it would be kind of embarrassing, but we're about double what the minimum wage is here for Iraq, on average. Roz, well said, Oriana, it starts early. Thank you. But yeah, no, we would love to be able to pay more for our staff, but as it is right now, we can barely keep up with the funds that we're already getting. So yeah, but if people would find companies that would sponsor individual staff members, it could take some of the pressure off, and possibly we could, make sure that our staff are a bit more stable than they already are, especially with the cost of living continuing to rise as it is. We're not out here trying to save the world on the backs of the most vulnerable people in the community. We want to not only pay a fair wage to the people that work for us, and that give their everything to our cause, but we also want to help, inject some money into the community that needs it. And we do a lot of capacity building also for our staff. So there are people, when they come to us and we see talent, true talent, I don't care where that person's from, I don't care what their education background is, I'm going to develop that, because not only is it good for the charity, but we may be the only organization that ever gives them an opportunity to show what they're capable of. So we do a lot of capacity building with each of our staff members to try and help them build their CV and to, just better themselves. So War Paws as much as we focus on animal welfare, we're a pretty well-rounded org that does a lot for everyone that's involved with us. So, I mean, I might be biased, but I think we're a pretty damn good cause to throw your weight and support behind. And I'll maintain that as long as I'm seeing that we're doing good work. Luis, our staff salaries are only $10,000 each month, which is not a great deal when we have 16 staff. So thank you, Luis, for pointing that out. I was having a hard time figuring out how much information I'm supposed to give publicly, but yeah, our salary bill every month only comes in at $10,000, and we have 16 staff members, including myself. So we are operating on a small amount of money, and we are not the kind of group that can work with just volunteer labor. Like we're not all rich people that are moonlighting, as rescuers. Sorry, my dog's like exposing herself in the background. Cinder, have some shame. Have some shame, honey. You're showing the people all your bits. She's like, I don't care. Here, we'll turn and block her a little bit. Francis, do you get any monetary help at all from the government? I think I already know the answer. Yeah, no, we get no monetary help whatsoever from the government here. In fact, their employees often try to strong arm us into giving them bribes so that we can access the bare minimum. We get no electricity, no water, no internet, no garbage service, absolutely nothing from the local government, which is incredibly shameful. But criticizing them has produced no results for me. So despite my best efforts, I haven't been able to change their minds on it. What else? I feel like I've gone down a really negative rabbit hole with you guys today on this live. It wasn't intended to be that way. I am feeling kind of tired because it just feels like we're not getting where we need to be. Oh, my other dog here wants to be on the live. Hi, Nixie. Who's my baby? You can come up here and say hi to the people. You want to come up here and say hi to the people? Come here. Sorry, she wants to come up and say hi. Come here. Up. No. Come here. Okay. So, and she's off. Anyway, that's Nix. So I have 2 dogs in my house. Roz, any funds from US or UK government? Oh, absolutely not. No, nobody wants to put money into animal welfare because they seem to not understand how it affects community health. So yeah, there's no funds available to us from the US or UK government. Yeah, and Luis is confirming that, yeah, in the comments. Well, I need to get going. I've been on here for about 40 minutes and I've got a stack of messages. I can't get my phone to open. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I need to get back to work because today's my remote work day. So this is where I would go out. I attend any meetings I need to. I answer all of the emails, and I have a look at our social media stuff and see, where I can help. But I do need to get back to answering those messages. So I am going to let you guys go here pretty soon. Kate Thomas, the people side is interesting. There may be more grant making trusts into that. I'll try some research. I used to work doing this. Luis may have covered this, but no harm in trying. Yeah, there's no harm in trying. See what you can find. And I'm screaming it from the mountaintops here to anyone that will friggin' listen to me about the human aspect of it, because it's not just me blowing smoke. Like there's a real human interest in the work that we do here. Luis, always happy to have people who are willing to look at this stuff, Kate. Yeah, no, we appreciate the help very much. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go because I do have, like I said, messages stacking up that I need to get to. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this live, and as always, for supporting us. We know that the people watching this, that you guys are already doing everything you can think of to give us the support that we need. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. It's doing stuff all by itself, like opening and closing apps and stuff. It also likes to send people messages and like kind of butt dial people, so that's embarrassing. Anyway, all right, I am gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell your friends and family about us. Tell your employer. See what you can do, and yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you guys on the next live.